put a smile on your face when you're moving from place to place. Good morning, good morning, morning, good morning, morning.
Good morning and welcome to the morning show on Tobago Updates Television. It is Thursday, 20th June 2024, and we're coming to you live from the Port Mall here in Scarborough, Tobago. I am Adana Kumbi, and it is the day after the holiday. Yes, yesterday it was Labor Day, and there were so many activities happening on the island of Tobago. I know the Moravian Church had their Everything Mango event there yesterday at the Food Hub at Shore Park, and of course, in his presence, we will talk a little bit more about that in our program this morning. But I'm telling you, it was a glorious time yesterday, and I'd love to hear what most of you did yesterday. How did you spend your day? And I do hope that whatever you did, you were safe, you had a good time, and you were able to spend time with family, friends, and loved ones. But before we get into all the interesting conversations this morning, we want to head on over to the news in 90 seconds.
News in 90 seconds is brought to you by Standards, never beaten on quality and prices.
Thank you, Adana. Here is your news in 90 seconds for Thursday, June 20th, 2024. Chief Secretary Fali Augustine is scheduled to present Tobago's budget for fiscal year 2024-2025 on June 24th in the Assembly Legislature. He announced this during the launch of an internet broadband service at the Palatavere Multipurpose Facility. For the previous fiscal year 2023 to 2024, the Tobago House of Assembly requested $4.5 billion from the central government but received $2.58 billion. Augustine did not disclose the exact amount for the upcoming budget, but indicated it would adhere to the Dispute Resolution Commission recommended limits as expected by Parliament. Up next, the Joint Trade Union Movement announced plans to collaborate with the United National Congress and other political entities to remove the People's National Movement from power. During the 86th Labor Day celebrations in Faizabad, Joint Trade Union Movement President Ansel Roger emphasized the formation of a National Front Alliance, not a new political party, to achieve this goal. Roger criticized the PNM's 9-year governance, citing significant issues such as the closure of major enterprise, the cessation of gasoline production following Petrotrin shutdown, rising unemployment, and alleged corruption. Roger urged union members to unite and mobilize against the PNM. And finally, Minister of Public Utilities Marvin Gonzalez announced that the Water and Sewage Authority will hire 9 new managers, including a new CEO. This announcement was made during a signing ceremony for the National Water Sector Transformation Program. The restructuring of WASA has reached a significant milestone, with the Human Resource Advisory Committee approving the terms for the new executive team. Gonzalez stated that after the 9 senior leaders are appointed, approximately 34 deputy positions will be filled in the coming months. The restructuring aims to streamline WASA's leadership, which has been considered too large and insufficient. And that was your news in 90 seconds.
Need a fresh start? Upgrade your life with the things you want. At Standard Distributors in Canaan, life is good with zero. Get that amazing fridge, the stylish sofa with zero down and easy financing. Your dream house is within reach. Visit Standard Distributors today. Life is good with zero.
Thank you, Biana, of course, for your news there in 90 seconds. And as I mentioned, it's the day after the holiday. Yesterday was Labor Day, so we had a day off.
Yes.
Some took the day to rest, relax, reconnect with some friends.
Yes.
I had a wonderful time. What did you do yesterday, Biana?
Well, as the holiday says it was Labor Day, so I did some work yesterday, got some work done yesterday, and that was basically it for me. I passed by the sports that was at Montgomery. There were lots of persons there, a great turnout at the sports, but attending in his presence. That wasn't for me. I viewed snippets of it on Facebook, and it seemed as though there was a great turnout there as well. What was your
Well, I can tell you for certain that what you saw on our Facebook or social media pages as it relates to In His Presence 11 is nothing in comparison to being there. You know, I attended the event yesterday and I looked around in the auditorium.
Yes.
And I am almost certain that every single seat was occupied. I have never seen so many persons in one place in Shaw Park actually for an event. And I think that in terms of numbers, if we're talking about numbers, that this was the most successful of them all. In fact, when I was leaving, I spoke with Mr. Joseph and I asked him, we finished counting numbers yet? Because there were so many people there.
Yes.
Not only were there a lot of people, but in terms of the production, it's always a level of excellence with Dominion Promotions. And I'm telling you that the delivery, the performances, it was top notch.
Yes.
And what stood out for me the most is when we had the international act, which was Tim Godfrey. His backups were all our local, every single person from the island of Tobago. You would not have known. Sorry?
Yes. I said that's awesome.
Yes, and you would not have known if you didn't know the faces, because they had that look, that polished look. And you know, I shouldn't say that, because we do have that kind of talent. And we do have that kind of pride here on the island of Tobago. It was an awesome, wonderful time. Young, old, in between, all persons came together and they really truly enjoyed that event yesterday. So congratulations to Dominion Promotions and to all of you who went out yesterday and had a good time. To God be the glory, and I pray that your experiences will be long lasting and that Tobago will continue to be a hub and a home for international artists, and of course allowing different sectors to enjoy a piece of the pie as well.
Did you get in the dance for the
but
of course,
of course, of course, and I'm willing to teach, but not on air, not on air. Thank you so much, Bianna.
All right.
Yes, ladies and gentlemen, it was indeed an awesome time yesterday at In His Presence. I'm telling you, I was blown away. I saw young children, I saw young persons, I saw persons my age. I don't know if you could call me young, just above young. I saw older persons, and I saw so many mature persons there, even in the crowd down below, jumping and celebrating and waving, all to the honor and glory of God. To God be the glory. It was an awesome experience. I know I'm excited. I'm really bubbling, and I'm still overflowing right now with the joy from yesterday, but we have to get on with our program this morning. And so we head on over to our birthday shout-outs. And on screen and celebrating a birthday, this is a belated birthday. Hughes Stewart, she celebrated her birthday yesterday. Hughes Stewart, happy belated birthday to you. Gorgeous
Mm-hmm.
young lady, doing so many things. You might know her for being on the track and field champion, and also for Hughes Palette. She's wonderful, talented, beautiful, humble. And so I want to say happy birthday to you, Q. We appreciate you very much, and we pray God's blessings upon your life. And on screen is LaShawn Cato, known as Toya. Happy birthday, Toya. We wish you a happy. This is a beautiful soul. The most humble, caring, helpful person that I know is Toya. She always wears a smile, always willing and always engaging. And I just want to wish you happy birthday. It's coming to you, of course, from all of us here at the Tobago Updates television family, and of course, especially from Ronald Wood. We want to say happy birthday to you, Toya. And to all our celebrants, we say happy birthday to you. Even if we don't have your photos, of course, we wish you God's blessings. You might be wondering, who are we having conversations with this morning in studio? And I am proud to announce that our conversation starts off with Luke James Trim, no stranger to the Tobago Updates family. In fact, he's one of our youth presenters here on our Wednesday program. Of course, journeying to do his own personal development. He's a CARICOM Youth Ambassador for the Republic of Trinidad and Tobago. Very, very proud. And we'll be speaking about securing our future. CARICOM, next generation of leaders. You want to be a part of that conversation. And then we speak with Sergeant Melinda Daniel Kirk of the TTPS Traffic Branch, and Corporal Carver Vincent of the TTPS Traffic branch, understanding traffic regulations. And there are some things that we really need to get to understand, to know and to understand, so we can adhere to our traffic regulations here on the island of Tobago, so that we drive safely and we keep our nation's roads safe. You want to be a part of both conversations. They will be very engaging and informative. So stick around with us. Call a neighbor, call a friend, and let them know that the morning show has begun on Tobago Updates Television. And while you do that, of course, help us to share the live, share the live, share the live. We'll be right back.
It's a different type of thing down there. And we party till we drop down there. With a lot of pretty girls down there. Down in Tobago.
Put a smile on your face when you're moving from place to place. Good morning, good morning, morning, good morning, morning.
Welcome back to the morning show on Tobago Updates Television. I am Adana Kumbi, and of course we begin conversations this morning proudly speaking with Mr. Luke Trim James this morning, and we are talking about, he's the CARICOM Youth Ambassador for Trinidad and Tobago, and that's Luke James Trim, CARICOM Ambassador for the Republic of Trinidad and Tobago, from right here in Tobago, our very own, and one of our hosts right here on the morning show on Youth Wednesdays, a familiar face to all, a familiar name to all, and I'm certain a familiar voice to all. Good morning, Luke, and welcome.
Good morning, Adana, and I'm so excited to be back home. I'm so excited to be at the studio that started it all for me. So, Adana, I'm excited this morning. I'm excited.
That's right, and I am very proud of you, and I'm very proud for the fact that you're such a courageous young man, focused and driven, and, you know, always keeping your eyes on the prize, eyes on the goal, and always trying to ensure that your objectives are met. So now this morning we're talking about being the youth ambassador for CARICOM, representing the Republic of Trinidad and Tobago. And of course, a very proud moment. How does that make you feel? Or what was your journey like to get to that position?
Well, Adana, I felt like that position, it was God ordained. Because I remember when the ministry was advertising, I was looking at it, I was like, I don't want to be no CARICOM youth ambassador, but for the entire week, Adana, every time I picked up my phone, I'll see the flyer. It would just be popping up left, right, and center. And then I remember one of my friends, Miss Jemiah Prince, she and I, we are like spiritual buddies. So like we pray together, we talk about God together. And then in the wee hours of the morning, she sent me the flyer and she was like, Luke, I think you should apply for this. And I was like, you know what, Luke, I think that's some confirmation for you. So then I sent in an application and I did the interview process, and then everything beautiful just started happening.
Wow, absolutely amazing. It sounds divine, as you said, you know. So I'm happy that you were successful at that. And now you're in this position, and of course the demands will be great because now you have the voice for to represent Trinidad and Tobago where youth issues are concerned. And so you have to bring these issues to the fore, try to present your case, and of course look for resolve, look for some sort of, you know, changes in policy perhaps in our country and possibly in the region as well. And how is it for you in terms of trying to represent Trinidad and Tobago, to represent Luke, to represent the people who you know who are young just like you, who have the same issues like you? How does it feel carrying, you know, that mantle to ensure that the voices are heard and that the changes that are important are made?
Well, Adana, at first, when I first became the ambassador, naturally, it was overwhelming. I was in this new position. I didn't know how serious it was until I got into the position. And I'm like, how can I, as this little boy from Tobago, advocate for so many young people within the CARICOM level? And Adana, when you think about the CARICOM Youth Ambassador Program, it's basically CARICOM's mechanism for getting young people involved in the integration movement. So it was developed in the late 1990s to educate young people about the integration movement and get them involved in CARICOM. And I know you're probably wondering, I'm throwing this with integration, the integration movement around what it is about, but it's going to tie into your question that you asked, how I'm handling it. So I want to get creative a bit. I want you to picture a football team, but this football team is not your ordinary football team in terms of presentation. So one player is in red, white, and black, another player is in yellow and blue with a trident in the center of the jersey, and another player is in green, yellow, and black. And as the uniform suggests, Adana, they have unique skills, differences, strengths, and weaknesses, just like all countries may have different resources, economies, and cultures. And despite them being obviously different, Adana, they're all on one team working together for one common purpose. So when you think about the CARICOM integration movement, it's much like forming a strong regional football team formed from individual players, well, in this case, countries. And when we leverage each other's strengths, we in turn support each other's weaknesses and achieve greater success. And this collaborative effort, Adana, it really enhances regional stability, regional security, and overall prosperity. So you asked me, how do I handle it? And because of that integration movement that I would have experienced as an ambassador, through the other ambassadors, we work together, we network together. When we come together, Adana, we address the issues, we resolve the issues, and a lot of action happens. So as ambassadors, we advocate for and educate young people about CARICOM's opportunities and priorities. We address national youth issues within a regional strategic framework, and we also identify and open opportunities for CARICOM youth to thrive within the region, and most importantly, contribute meaningfully to the development of their respective islands.
Wow, that was a mouthful there. And of course, you know, it is understandably so, because at the end of the day, what we're looking for is advancement, progress, and creating a space where everybody feels as if opportunities are equal and accessible to all.
Correct.
What are some of the issues that are burning and pressing for you that you have been presenting or wish to present in the forum that you sit to bring some measure of resolve to?
Well, Adana, starting off, we have the burning issue of mental health. We live in a Caribbean region, and even here in Tobago, where that topic is oftentimes taboo. You know, as a youth, you might go to your mom or your parents and be like, hey, you know, I'm feeling like I'm depressed. And they're going to be like, what you had to be depressed about is I paying the bills, is I had to do this, is I have to do that. You have nothing to be depressed about. But all young people, Adana, we are human beings and we have emotions. And if we are to expect young people to aid in the development of their islands and by extent national development, we need them to be healthy. We need to give them the resources and the tools, Adana, to really be productive individuals. So we have the issue of mental health, we have the issue of youth unemployment, we have the issue of gender-based violence, we have so many issues burning the CARICOM youth. And most importantly, I would have recently championed this issue with greater need for educational improvement. So I would have launched the Tobago Students Association, Adana, and that launch, that project launch, it meant a lot to me because when I attended university right in Trinidad, I would have identified that we have over 131 Tobagonian youth just walking around aimlessly. We have no platform for that sense of community. We have no platform for that sense of identity. And when you look at the other islands, Adana, all of them have a students association. All of them have that sense of community. You learn about their culture. We didn't have that at the level in Trinidad. And if I am to champion regional integration as CARICOM Youth Ambassador, I just couldn't do that, Adana, while looking at my own island, my old island youth. They are just there aimlessly. So we launched the Tobago Students Association and we were able to change that national narrative. So now at the UE St. Augustine level, we finally have a Tobagonian rep on the guild on the National Affairs Committee. And as ambassador, Adana, it really opened up my eyes on my ability to really, change the conversation. CARICOM has given us a platform where we can advocate on such a wide level. And from getting that training and understanding what am I supposed to do as an ambassador, I was able now to bring something home to Tobago. Because when you look at the importance of Students Association, it's extremely important, especially when we want young people to get involved in national development, advocate, politics and all. So it starts here, Adana. And when you go back to mental health, right now the CARICOM Secretariat, they are planning to train us as ambassadors, youth leaders and other youth workers to give them the skills to be first responders to the issue of mental health. Because when you think about mental health, it ties to everything, Adana, climate change, even the issue we have seen here with crime. So many of our young men seem to be on the opposite side of law. How can we as CARICOM Youth Ambassadors address that issue? So at this moment, those are the current issues we are championing.
And it's quite very, very important, pertinent issues as well. In terms of your Caribbean colleagues, your other youth ambassadors around the region, have you identified similarities in terms of their issues and their concerns that they have been raising?
Yes, Adana, and it just ties back into my first question, my first answer actually with CARICOM integration. Sometimes you think that you're so different. You're like, oh my God, you're from Barbados, you're from Jamaica. What can we possibly have in common? And then you sit and you start to discuss certain issues and you realize, wow, I have that same issue at home too. So although media, we might see that the issue of crime is more sensationalized, it's always something that's reported. Other Caribbean islands may have an issue of crime, and more importantly, young persons are getting involved. So we have that issue. We have the issue of climate change. A lot of young people, they are not getting involved in this conversation, and as the youth, we need to be at the forefront of climate change if we are to secure our future. So right now, those are the main issues we are championing as ambassadors. As the years progress, maybe our interests will change. I know we started off with gender-based violence last year in November, where we would have went to Jamaica for the Caribbean Youth Summit. So as time progresses, so our interest progresses, or advocacy progresses, Adana. So we're just taking it one step at a time.
And you sound so excited, and I could feel your passion because I know that you're one, you beat the ground. I know you do the groundwork and you do your research and you ensure that you have your facts and you present your case well. How does somebody get involved in this? How does a young person get involved, not just in the ambassadorship, but the opportunities that are presented, that are created and are afforded to young persons from CARICOM?
Well, Adana, I always like to tell young people you don't need no big degree or have this long experience to get involved. You just need to be a young person that wants to contribute to development. So if you want to look at the island level, we have our national youth councils, we have our youth council, we have our police youth clubs. You can start there. In terms of CARICOM, we oftentimes work alongside past ambassadors, we work alongside the national youth councils. So when we come together for certain projects and issues, that's where you see everybody's getting involved. In terms of the ambassador program, usually the Ministry for Youth Development, they would send out an application. The Division of Community Development, they oftentimes facilitate the interviews. So probably when my tenure is up, for those who want to get involved, you can start getting involved now. So when you do that interview, it's going to be a no-brainer. So that's where you start. And also timed, Adana, you oftentimes don't need a platform or to be a part of a group to really get your advocacy going. As a young person, you have your platform, you have your social media, you have your Instagram, you have a WhatsApp. You could start there. You could start using your voice. You could start sensitizing other young people about issues that are affecting you and issues that are affecting other youth. So it always starts with you. You don't have to wait for somebody to give you a platform. You don't have to wait for somebody to give you a seat at the table. You are young as young persons. We are innovative. We are energetic. So if you want something done, you just have to start.
That's right. And how long is your tenure as the youth ambassador?
Ideally, it's 2 years. Sometimes you get an extension. So practically 3 years, but as of now it's 2 years, and based on my performance, probably I will get an extension for the third
Of
year.
course, that's the confidence we're talking about there. And this is why we have such pride in you, because we know not just that you have the passion, but that you have the confidence as well to put yourself out there. And of course, an encouragement to other young people. As you mentioned, you don't need to have, you don't need to be invited somewhere. You can use your own platform to present your cause. There are so many persons who have used the social media, for the causes that that they believe, that they are convicted about, and they have gotten a lot of traction, a lot of attention, and they have brought change to situations that they found themselves in. So of course, good advice there coming from Luke this morning. And of course, you can do it too. You can do it too. Of course, if you have something that is very important and burning to you, you can bring change in the spaces that you occupy. Now, Luke, what are you looking forward to most in this role in the future? Like, even from today, what is the thing that you are looking forward to achieve before you hand over the baton to someone else?
Adana, as a young person, my grandparents always used to tune into the politics and the news. And as a young person, I would have observed over the years this divisive narrative between Trinidad and Tobago, perpetuated by past political leaders. And at this current stage, we are still observing that sort of adversarial relationship when it comes to Trinidad and Tobago. But as the new generation, Adana, we reject this counterproductive approach. So as an ambassador, I want to ensure that Tobagonian youth get involved in the conversations, that we get that representation that's needed, that we build meaningful connections with Trinidad, so that we are a unified republic and not one versus the other. Now, as young persons, that's why I started the Tobago Students Association, because it started there. We have a network of 131 members, eligible voters. These are people that can speak. These are people that can get involved in the civic procedures. So as ambassador, I want to ensure that when I am done, it's not just me, that when I leave my space, there are other Tobagonian youth who are thriving and contributing to the island development. Because oftentimes, Adana, let's say, for example, when I travel and I go to these forums, it's just me, I'm the only Tobagonian there. And I remember when I raised that issue with the youth officer at the division of ComDev, I would have told her, hey, this St. Lucia trip that we're going to, it would be really nice if we could have a Tobago delegation. And I'm so thankful that the division, they honored the request, and we moved as a group of Tobagonians. And it was so pleasing, Adana, for us to have that level of representation on a regional level. When you look at how the regional peers, they started understanding that, it's not just Trinidad. It's Trinidad and Tobago. And while we may be a republic, we all have our differences, we have different nuances, similar to what we see at the regional level. So my goal as an ambassador, Adana, is to strengthen the bonds between Trinidad and Tobago, starting with its youth. It's not going to be an easy road. It's going to be difficult. It has been difficult, but I'm seeing the improvements, I'm seeing the progress, and I'm starting somewhere. So that's what I'm looking forward to.
That's absolutely awesome. It's a lot there. And of course, Luke, I wish you the very best. But before you go this morning, not only do I want to know what you are looking forward to in this role before you leave, but what's next for Luke? After this period has ended, what's next for Luke? Is the activism going to continue? Of course, it's going to continue. But what are your long-term goals after you've handed over the baton as the youth ambassador for CARICOM?
Donna, to be honest, I really don't know what's next for me. Currently, I am studying to become an attorney. So by the time I'm finished being an ambassador, by the time my tenure is up, I would be in law school at Hewarding. And I want to continue my activism there because I have a passion for being a defense attorney. I think I always love to stand up for people. Since I was small, I was always the one at the front picking up for people and defending them. So at that level, I think I will see myself in our justice system, standing up for those who can't stand up for themselves, being that voice for them, advocating for their passions and their interests. That's where I see myself now. Also in the future, I want to see probably what my biggest goal is to bring a legal clinic here in Tobago where we can assist people who can't assist themselves, because we know the financial burden it takes on people when they want that legal representation. So coming from a village of Mount St. George, Adana, it has been difficult getting in these spaces. People always think that the youth of Mount St. George are supposed to be a certain way. So the fact that I'm able to show people that Mount St. George has something beautiful and beautiful things to offer, that's why I see myself in the future giving back to my community, because If it wasn't for the community amongst the Georgia Dana, I wouldn't be here today. From since I was young, they always had a special interest in my development. They will always encourage my mother and my grandparents to get me into these spaces, get me involved. And it's because of their level of interest and care for me, I'm now here. So when I'm finished as an ambassador, even during my last 10 years as ambassador, I want to push all my resources into giving back to my community. So that's where I see myself in the future.
Absolutely awesome stuff there coming from Luke this morning. And Luke, I just want to share some messages with you from those who are viewing us on our Facebook Live. Melanie Lubin, she's saying, hey there, Ambassador Luke. Great news. Wow, coming from Lasaif Ratin. I hope I'm pronouncing the surname correctly. Saying good morning. Aldit Cowan is saying brilliant youth ambassador.
Thank you.
Pearl Murray Beard, so proud of you, Luke James Trim.
Thank you.
Janelle Wright is saying, well done, Luke James Trim. I love to see your brilliance. Rodney Piggott, Luke, the sky is not the limit. Bring the content that will expand the mindset of the youths, thus expanding innovations. Luann James, do you know that one?
Hi, mommy.
She said, very nice, Luke. Very proud of you. So everyone on the live this morning,
thank you, everyone. I really appreciate it.
Yes, expressing congratulations to you, and of course, very proud of you. I think you're an excellent representation of the young people here on the island of Tobago, championing the cause, and of course, the issues that you spoke about this morning are very important, especially and particularly mental health. We really, take it for granted.
Correct.
And we really brush it aside, and it's something that we really need to pay attention to. So I'm happy that you have seen the importance to bring it to the fore, and I do hope the conversation yields, benefits to all of us, because at the end of the day, our young people are the ones who will be leading us, right? And so we want them to have that space that they can expand and grow and be the best version of themselves, and encourage the ones who are coming up as well. So Luke, on behalf of the Tobago Updates television family, we say congratulations to you.
Thank you.
We say best wishes to you. And we will, of course, we're going to hear more from you because you're one of us.
Yes.
And we are proud. Yes, we're making that claim and that boast this morning. We are very proud of our Luke, and we will continue to encourage him and encourage all young persons who want to get involved in the conversations that affect them and affect generations to come and affect the spaces that we occupy. And so we want you to do your very best. Use Luke this morning as an example, an inspiration, and a motivation to get up and get going. You have a voice, and we want to hear what you have to say, because it can bring change in the spaces that you occupy. Ladies and gentlemen, this morning we've been speaking with Luke James Trim, Youth Ambassador for CARICOM, representing the Republic of Trinidad and Tobago, securing our future as young people here on the island. Ladies and gentlemen, we have to go for a short break before we continue conversations in studio this morning. And of course, before we go, Luke is going to help me, of course, to tell you, to help us
share the life, share the life, share the life.
We'll be right back.
Notice is hereby given that the 63rd Annual General Meeting, AGM, of the Bethel Credit Union Cooperative Society Limited will take place using a hybrid format on Thursday, June 27th from 5 p.m. The physical location will be upstairs the Mount Marie branch office. The purpose of the meeting is to receive minutes of the 62nd Annual General Meeting, to receive reports as follows: statutory and board-appointed committees, report of the auditor and audited financial statements, to receive budgetary proposals for 2024, to elect officers, to approve general resolutions, and lastly to transact any other business that may properly come before the meeting. A digital copy of the AGM brochure is available on the website. Please visit our website at www.bethelcredituniontt.com or any one of our branches for further information.
Tobago, the date has been set. Saturday, June 22nd, we head to the Jade Monkey once again for the launch of their 2024 Jufi and Mass Band presentation for Tobago Carnival. On Saturday, June 22nd, we gather at the Jade Monkey to get a glimpse of the Jade Monkey Mass presentation for 2024, the Tobago Festival, and also the launch of the Jade Monkey Jufi, Monkey See, Monkey Do. I come from
between island carnival.
Get ready for another year of Tobago Carnival with the best band in Tobago, Jade Monkey Mass and the Jade Monkey Juve. So come out on June 22nd as we launch Monkey See, Monkey Do Juve, and for Tobago Mass, the Tobago Festival's presentation, brought to you by the Jade Monkey. This one powered by Carib, Digicel, and Next 99.1 FM, a member of the TTT Limited Media Network. Jade Monkey.
Go down in the center, go down. I can't live without you, I can't be without you for too long. Cause when I'm around you, I feel like the heavens has come down. I feel it in my soul every time we on the road, it's a miracle. A million strong come together.
Deltec Distributors Weekend Special Wings Friday. 3 pounds wings, 2.5 kilogram fries. Special 100 TT Soup Saturday. 2 pounds cube beef, 2 pounds cow heel, 2 pounds chicken foot, 2 pounds pigtail, or smoked bone. Special $150. Super Sunday. 3 pounds leg and thigh chicken, 3 pounds sliced pork, 3 pounds lamb slice, 3 pounds cheese, 2 pack of pasta. Special $250. Located Main Road, Argyle, Tobago. We deliver 20 TT. Contact us on deltecdistributors.com 395-5040 or 237-0102. Deltec Distributors Weekend Special.
Put a smile on your face when you're moving from place to place. Good morning, good morning, morning, good morning, morning.
Welcome back to the morning show on Tobago Updates Television. I am Adana Kumbi. It is now 7:32 a.m. So if you're getting to work for 8, you have some time this morning. But remember to drive safely on our nation's roads. Our key operative this morning is getting there safely and observing the traffic regulations. In fact, this brings me to our next conversation this morning. We're speaking with Sergeant Melinda Daniel Kirk of the TTPS Traffic Branch and Corporal Carver Vincent of the traffic branch as well. This morning we're talking about understanding traffic regulations. Good morning and welcome.
Good morning.
Good morning.
And good morning to the viewing public.
Right, and of course, as the topic suggests, understanding traffic regulations. And, you know, we've seen where persons have, I have personally seen, so I can record what I see, persons not adhering to traffic regulations, possibly not understanding the traffic regulations or not having a knowledge of the traffic regulations. And so you see some sort of compromises there on the nation's roads. And it begs the question, because sometimes you're considering your safety. I always tell people who I know, drive for yourself and 2 persons in front and 2 persons behind, because you never know what the man in front of you is going to do, right? And so this morning we want to talk a little bit about traffic regulations. I want to start with traffic lights, the most obvious topic. I have had situations where I'm waiting in line, I am behind the light and the light is red. So I'm waiting my turn to go, which means the lights on the perpendicular side so one of the lights are green, right? When my light turns to green and I am ready to go, I am seeing cars still going across. And my light is already on green, which means their light has already turned to red. It went to orange and then to red, which gives them enough time to stop, slow down. And mine is on green, and still I see 2, sometimes even 3 cars still coming across. And so we have that challenge this morning to talk about and to encourage our viewers this morning about using and observing and respecting the traffic lights. I want us to have that conversation this morning.
May I? All right. Morning again. There seems to be a misconception in the understanding of the traffic lights. Yes, we know green means to go. Red means to stop. But the general public, most of them, have a conception that yellow means go through still. But the law states that a yellow light, a solid yellow light, means to get ready to stop. Because at any moment, that red light will come on. What people know, for personal individual drivers, Upon seeing a yellow light, they speed up. They speed up. And by the time they speed up, the light changes to red, so they already break the traffic light. And when the officers who are there stops them and give them a ticket now, oh gosh, boss, give me a blind. But you could kill somebody. It's very, very dangerous. You could kill somebody because the thing is this, I do it, I'm sure you do it also. The light turns to green. And you have to wait and watch to see if anybody coming through.
That's right.
Because if you wait, by the time you go through there, collision. Could be a fatal, could be a serious RTA, but an RTA or a road traffic accident is an accident.
And I want you to reiterate, because you said the yellow light is for you to start slowing down or prepare to
Get
stop.
ready to stop.
Get ready to. That's what it means.
That's what it means.
And as you rightfully said, a lot of people think it means, let me see how fast I can get across before the light turns red. And to build that also, a flashing amber light means to proceed, but proceed cautiously. So even if you're going through, you have to slow down, watch, make sure it's clear, and then proceed. But that solid amber light means get ready to stop, because at any moment that red light is going to come on. And then you get caught in a predicament. If not a ticket, you might get yourself in an accident. Yeah, and people take a lot of things for granted. They think to themselves, oh, I'm a good driver. Oh, my car working good. You know, I could make it. And so we we jeopardizing our safety and those who are around us by trying to escape. I'm trying to understand, what is the urgency to get through the light? When the light changes, how long does it take for you to change back for you to get access to go? What is the average time?
Average 10 seconds. There's a 10-second, 8 to 10 seconds grace period there.
No, like if your light is now on red and you have to wait another cycle for it to come around.
In some cases,
it's about 2 minutes, right?
2 to 3 minutes.
It
varies depending on where the lights are placed. It varies, but basically 2 to 3 minutes, and then it goes again.
And I'm trying to figure out, what is the hurry? What is the rush? I mean, listen, let me just talk on behalf of the TTPS for 10 seconds. Let us be cautious when using the traffic lights. There are persons who might not think, oh, I need to wait because my light is on green and so I have access to go. There are persons who would not be looking to see if you're zooming across. So please let us respect and adhere to. Now, I know that there are cameras installed at most of our traffic, on our traffic lights. Have they been helpful in terms of identifying drivers who break this law and who decide to themselves, well, I'm a good driver, my car is good working, you know, I could skate through there. You know, has it been able to assist us in identifying them? I know.
Yes, it has. Because on a few occasions in the past, we would have caught drivers reaching the red stoplight, and we will call our operational command and ask for footage. So when the president, they plead not guilty in court, they could use that same footage as evidence in court. Say, but that is you going through red light there. Isn't that you? Isn't that your vehicle?
And what are the charges for breaking a light? 1, for breaking the red light, 1, and 2, for possibly causing any type of damage whatsoever?
Well, for the breach of the red traffic light, $1,000. And as usual, 3 demerit points. In case of an RT, you still get charged for breach of the red stoplight, but you will also get charged, well, not charged, but at least you could sue the individual for damages done to your vehicle or even injury to a person. You can't sue them.
You know, we just need to, we need to be safe. Every single morning I sit here, when I leave, I always say, ensure that you drive safely on our nation's roads. And this is what I am talking about. And so we want to ensure that we adhere to the regulations, right? When you get into an accident, if you get into an accident, a road traffic accident, let's say somebody breaks a light or somebody tries to overtake in an area where they're not supposed to overtake, and now you have a collision. What are your next steps? What are you supposed to do at that particular point in terms of reporting and, you know, getting all your stuff sorted out?
Well, the first thing you're supposed to do, at least in some cases, people have their cell phone now, they take a picture of the scene, or some persons will mark the spots, at least, well, they can mark the spot of the accident, but where vehicles ended up. Upon doing that now, you at least try your best to clear the roadway to allow other motorists to proceed where they're going, and then either you call the police station, or if your vehicle can still drive, come to the station and make a report as soon as practicable. Because gone are the days where they used to say, I'm gonna have 24 hours to make a report of an accident. But it has now been deemed that all RTAs are considered somewhat of a crime scene. So you have to report it as soon as practicable, in terms of as soon as possible. Because in some cases you may be injured and have to go to the hospital. That's not practicable. Some persons going to say, I get an accident now. See me, I can report it in the morning. But you can get charged for failing to report an accident as soon as practicable.
Oh.
Yes, you can.
That is some good knowledge. That's some good information coming there in terms of the person actually being, you are susceptible to a charge if you don't report it in the soonest possible time.
You have to give a reasonable excuse as to why you didn't report it as soon as possible. Have to give a reasonable excuse.
Right.
Officer, I wasn't feeling well. So I see me, I wasn't able to drive, so let me go home and rest. I'll come in the morning. That is a reasonable excuse. I have to go to the hospital. Reasonable excuse. You have to convey somebody to the hospital. Reasonable excuse. Absolutely. But it has to be reported as soon as practicable.
Now, I want to talk now about merging into traffic lanes on the highways and the byways. Now, I know that there was an issue at the Republic Bank at Orkinscure where there wasn't that you couldn't merge into, you couldn't turn in there. You had to go around and come back. And now they've put demarcations on the ground, so you can now go there safely because there is an opportunity for you to go into the box, enter the box, and then turn right. The same situation exists now at FCB on Shervan Road. There isn't any opportunity for you to merge there to turn in there. So some people you will see, the law-abiding citizens, they would continue heading along west, go into Canopy, turn around and head back out to make the turn into FCB. What is the correct thing to do where that is concerned? And is there any conversation in terms of putting any boxes in that area as well?
Well, I believe there are conversations ongoing, but the correct drive, which you stated before, is to go along. You could turn into Canopy, and when it's safe to do so, you come back out and enter on the other side. But it is unlawful at this point in time to turn right into FCB. It is because if you watch the demarcations on the road, the markings on the road, solid line, which means you cannot cross here. You're not even supposed to overtake in that area. So it is against the law. It's even considered dangerous driving. But the correct thing at this point in time is to turn into Canopy, or if you're not sure, go straight onto the traffic light, turn right into Shervan Road, turn around inside by the licensing or by the Shervan Plaza, come back out and go there. It's a longer drive, but unfortunately, until further notice, that is the correct drive.
Okay, I hope our drivers are listening this morning. Take note, take heed. And you know, Sergeant Kirk, in terms of, as we're talking now about merging, I want to talk about overtaking. Sometimes, and we will come back to talking about the speed limits, because sometimes you could drive too fast and sometimes you could also drive too slow. So I want to talk about overtaking. When you want to overtake somebody on the main roads or wherever you are, what are the things that you have to look out for before you? And we learn this when we do our regulations, but sometimes you need to bring it back in the conversation so people are aware and that they adhere to what is what is required. So in terms of having to overtake somebody on the highway, what are the things you have to look out for before you take any action?
All right. Well, reference to when someone is overtaken, first thing you have to make sure it is safe for you to overtake, because we observe where there are drivers who are actually overtaken on the left-hand side, which is in what you call improper overtaking. So once it is safe for you to overtake, I will say you can overtake, but you also have to consider the lines that is on the roadway, because we have the solid lines and the broken lines, because wherever you see a solid line, that indicates it is not for you to overtake. You're only supposed to overtake in the areas where you see they are the broken lines.
And sometimes we have some, you rightfully said, there are some drivers who overtake on the shoulder, the left, which is really, really dangerous, as well as some persons who overtake a long line of traffic.
Yes.
You know, and I've seen it so many times, and I'm wondering, where are these people going? And what is the haste about? And so is there any regulation that governs how many vehicles you can overtake? As you said, you could only overtake on a broken line. Some people overtake on a solid line. They don't even look. I think we've come to a place now where we don't even pay attention to what is right in front of us. And is there anything that governs how many vehicles you can overtake at one particular time?
I would say yes, because according to our speed limit, on the highway, it's 80 kilometers. And if you're overtaking several vehicles, it clearly shows that you are over the speed limit, and that is classified as a dangerous driving. So right away, if you are overtaking at least 3 vehicles on the road, you will be automatically over 80 kilometers, and that is no longer improper overtaking, but dangerous driving.
Wow, wow. So this has gone into a different category now, dangerous driving.
Higher
And I want to
category.
talk about the speed limits because you said I know that 80 kilometers is the speed limit for on the highways, but there are other limits as well for minor roads and what is the minimum speed limit and stuff like that. I want to get into that part of the conversation as well.
Okay, so the speed limit for Tobago from the Sherburne Road traffic light along the Clonowell Highway until the Bacolet Junction, that speed limit is 80 kilometers per hour. Also from the Sherburne Road traffic light along Buku Road until Grafton Road, that is still 80 kilometers. We also have from the Montgomery Junction until the Buku traffic light, that is still also 80 kilometers. But all others, especially from the Orskenscure roundabout along that Canby Road up to the Montgomery Junction, that is not 80 kilometers. That is 50 kilometers. Along the Windward Road, the Northside Road, along with the Plymouth Road onto Wilson Road, all those roads and along the Milford Road, they are all 50 kilometers per hour.
Right. And what is considered driving too slow? Because sometimes you can be on the highway. I know it might be a tricky question, right? You might be on the highway and the speed limit is 80 kilometers, 50 kilometers for other areas. If somebody is driving at 30, is that considered driving too slow and possibly able to cause some sort of accident or collision?
If I may, yes, you could get charged for driving too slow because it comes like if you're impeding traffic or keeping back traffic. If you have some emergency like your vehicle, for some strange reason have mechanical difficulties and it's going, you're proceeding, but proceeding slow, you can't go too fast. You pull slightly to the left and allow the traffic to flow. Those who want to flow will pass as the case may be once they're passing, but not above the speed limit. If it's a bit too slow, pull to the side, there's a shoulder in most areas, pull to the left, proceed and go because you have an emergency. That's what the shoulder is there for. But if you see you on the road and you're blocking traffic or obstructing the free flow of traffic, you can get charged for impeding that traffic.
Ladies and gentlemen, we're speaking with Sergeant Melinda Daniel Kirk of the TTPS Traffic Branch and Corporal Carver Vincent, also of the TTPS Traffic Branch here in Tobago. We're having conversations about traffic regulations, what you should do, what you can do, and what you should not be doing. We have to go for a short break, but the conversation continues when we come back. And as we go for this break, of course, we invite you to help us. Share the live, share the live, share the live. We'll be right back.
Tobago Glass Supplies has been a leading name for over 37 years in the glass and aluminum market in Tobago. We provide an extensive range of high-quality, innovative aluminum and glass products for commercial and residential use. Competitive prices with superior and professional services by committed employees who are guided by rigid quality standards. Tobago Glass Supplies specializes in the manufacture and installation of glass and aluminum products that are essential to today's homeowners and the business environment. We are engaged in marketing, sales, and installation of a variety of products. These ranges from windows and doors to necessities such as mirrors for homes and vehicles, designed and manufactured in-house or imported.
Need a fresh start? Upgrade your life with the things you want. At Standard Distributors in Canaan, life is good with zero. Get that amazing fridge, the stylish sofa with zero down and easy financing. Your dream house is within reach. Visit Standard Distributors today. Life is good with zero.
The countdown is on to the Tobago Public Service Day Expo 2024. Join us on July 5th at the Shore Park Complex to discover the dynamic world of public service where innovation meets dedication. Explore exciting careers, experience innovative services, enjoy interactive displays, and a whole lot more. Come join us on July 5th at the Shore Park Complex from 9:30 a.m.
Visit the Office of the Chief Secretary's Facebook page for details. Tobago Public Service Day Expo 2024. Public service now and beyond.
Put a smile on your face when you're moving from place to place. Good morning.
Welcome back to the morning show on Tobago Updates Television. I am Adana Kumbi, and we continue conversations this morning. We're speaking with Sergeant Melinda Daniel Kirk of the TTPS Traffic Branch and Corporal Carver Vincent, also of the TTPS Traffic Branch here in Tobago. And we're talking about, traffic regulations, using the highways, driving safely. And we ended the first half of our conversation by talking about pulling aside if you are driving, if there's something wrong with your vehicle and you have to drive a little bit slowly, especially on the highways, and not inconveniencing other drivers. And so you spoke about pulling to the shoulder and allowing the traffic flow to continue. What are some of the things you should do when you are getting ready to pull to the side, should something happen?
Well, your vehicle is supposed to be fitted with indicators. You could either indicate, or if the rain isn't falling, you'll take on your glass and you'll use hand signals, which is part of the licensing regulation. And upon pulling to the left, or at least driving to the left, you'll put on your hazard light to indicate to other drivers that, yes, I have a difficulty, so I'm using the shoulder, or I have an emergency, so you're free to pass and go your merry old way. But you have to ensure and notify the public that, yes, that is why I'm on that side, or that's why I'm driving so slowly, so at least other motorists will know exactly what to do. Instead of being behind there, wasting time. In some cases where there isn't a shoulder, like some of the minor roads, you just pull slightly to the left with your hazard light on to indicate to them that, okay, you can pass.
Absolutely awesome. Sergeant, we're talking now about penalties. Right, we want to talk a little bit about the penalties for speeding and all the other, some of the other traffic offenses that people engage in on the nation's roads. And so, speeding, for instance, overtaking when they're not supposed to overtake. We want to know what are some of the penalties that come with these things, because I feel as if people take things for granted and they feel as if I could get away with something. Luckily, as you mentioned, we can get footage from our cameras that have been installed on our traffic lights. And so now we want them to know that we're going to catch you, and these are the charges that can, that can be incurred should you engage in this type of reckless driving.
So for someone caught exceeding the speed limit, the penalty varies according to how much you exceeded the speed limit by. For instance, if you were caught exceeding the speed limit between 1 kilometer to 9 kilometers, that is what we classify as a grace period, you'll be given a fine of just $1,000, but no demerit points. But if you exceeded from between 10 kilometers to 19 kilometers per hour, that's a fine of 1,500 with 2 demerit points. From 20 kilometers to 30 kilometers, that's $2,000 with a fine of 4 demerit points. And from 31 kilometers and over, that's a fine of $3,000 with 6 demerit points. And picture you already obtain a ticket for exceeding over the limit of 31, whereas it's 6 demerit points. And then you later receive a ticket for this, a seatbelt, which is 4 demerit points. That is 10 demerit points. And you know that you already now reach in a category to be disqualified. Because once you attain between 10 to 13, you can be disqualified for 6 months. And we have a lot of drivers already attain that amount, and they already are disqualified from driving.
Wow. So I wanted to go through, as you mentioned, the disqualification in terms of the demerit points. I feel as if some people don't understand the accumulation of the points. Mm-hmm. So I really wanted to talk a little bit about that in terms of how many, you mentioned 10 to 13 qualifies you to be disqualified from driving for a period of 6 months. Tell me about the ranges from 10 to 13, maybe 13 to 15. What are the disqualifications? 6 months, 8 months, 10 months, eternity? How does it work?
Okay, so for a newly driver, meaning a driver who just attained his driver's permit for a period of 12 months, they are only able to attain a demerit points of 7. And with that 7 points, they can be disqualified for 1 year. For an experienced driver, meaning a driver who is the whole of a driver's permit for more than 1 year, they are allowed between 10 to 13 demerit points, they will be disqualified for 6 months. From between 14 to 19 demerit points, you can be disqualified for 1 year. From over 20 demerit points, you can be disqualified for 2 years. We had a case just on Tuesday where a person, he was disqualified from the court and he was found driving, and the magistrate, he was sentenced to a short term of imprisonment. So you can also be sent to jail for such.
So after you get disqualified, is your permit taken away from you, or do you still have possession of it? How? Because you're saying that somebody was disqualified, but they were still found driving. So are they still in possession of their physical driver's permit, or do they have some sort of? How do you identify somebody in this case who is already disqualified?
Well, first thing, their driver's permit, it will be detained by the licensing department. So they will not be the holder at that point in time of a driver's permit.
And so driving without a driver's permit, of course, is breaking the law.
It is.
It's an offense.
It is an offense. And what are the penalties for that?
The reference to driving without a driver's permit, because we have a lot of cases of like that recently, where a person, they will never issue with a driver's permit and they always have an excuse of why they're supposed to be on the road. So it all depends on the discretion of the magistrate. You can be fined or you can be disqualified from driving. Because what we need for persons to understand, once you have the keys in your possession, you are found behind the steering wheel. Even if the vehicle is in park, you are considered a driver. And if you do not have a driver's permit, that's an offense.
Wow. I hope you are listening closely this morning to this conversation and, of course, taking heed. You know, one of our viewers on our online platform is talking about driving too closely, and that is a concern I have as well, when a driver is right up on your rear. You know, and I know when I did my regulations, you had to be a certain distance. You had to give that person distance in case they have to come to a sudden stop, in case something happens in front there. And that is why I mentioned earlier, sometimes I drive for myself and 2 persons in front and 2 persons behind, because you never can tell. How do we address this situation in terms of driving too close to a driver?
Well, how should I put this? It's all left to the discretion of the driver, because we have seen an increase in vehicular traffic on a daily basis. You as a driver had to take into consideration that in case of an emergency, someone has to stop, that you will have enough distance to stop. And we have found now that when the rain starts falling and the roadway now is wet, it's oil coming from the pitch and water. So you have to have a proper distance away from that vehicle in front of you. So if you stop on your saddle skid or hydroplane because of the water, that you can have a little distance to maneuver away from that vehicle or stop in time. But as you rightly said earlier on, everyone seems to be in a hurry, so they have to be right up behind somebody. And in some cases, I think they call that tailgating also, and you could get charged for that also, because you're driving dangerously. What if I stop? You don't know what could happen.
That's right.
So it's all on the discretion of the driver, all of the discretion of the driver.
You know, I wish we had more time this morning to talk a little bit more about this, because it's very important for all of us to understand how we use our nation's roads safely to ensure that we get to where we're going to with as little disruption as possible, if any at all. But we have, of course, to wrap things up this morning. But before we go, what is that one thing you want to ensure our viewers and listeners take away from this conversation this morning?
At the end of the day, drivers have to take one thing into consideration. It's not that you were given a vehicle for free. It's not that it's you alone on the road. You bounce it, you have to fix it. You're not on somebody, you have to take care of them. And the money coming up from your pocket. You have to be careful on the nation's roads. And it's a twofold incident, because you bounce somebody on the road, you have to fix them, and you still gonna get charged. So that money coming from your pocket, and you're complaining that, oh gosh, I have no money, I have no this, I have no that. Is you wanted, you want to buy a vehicle to bounce it? You buy a vehicle to drive for your convenience. Be safe on the nation's roads. Safety for you on the road, safety for others, and safety for the money in your pocket.
That's right, ladies and gentlemen. Thank you for staying with us up until this point. We've been speaking with Sergeant Melinda Daniel Kirk and Corporal Carver Vincent of the TTPS traffic branch here in Tobago, speaking about understanding the traffic regulations. And of course, we're going to have this conversation again sometime later on in our studio. But this is where we end the morning show on Tobago Updates Television. But we don't end our programming here. We head on over to Tobago Notes and then to GMT. So stay with us. And as you stay with us, of course, we invite you to help us share the live, share the live, share the live.
We have not had a shark attack in my years of scuba diving and being in the marine environment. We have never had an encounter such as that one. So we have to understand why is it that this happened, and understand that, listen, you know, these creatures, that's their home, and being in the water as a diver and even as a swimmer, one of the inherent risks is encountering one of these creatures. Yeah, so I don't think that is a worry, but I think it's a wake-up call for us to make sure that we equip our lifeguards, equip our emergency responders, so that they know in the unlikely event of an incident like that, we know what to do. As divers, we would see sharks once in a while. But most of the time, it's what we call provoked or unprovoked occurrences. So when we see them, they tend to avoid us. They don't like the human contact at all. We are not part of the ecosystem, so they don't know us as food. So the fear isn't there. The fear is mutual. They are more scared of us as we of them. Okay, so we just have to respect the animal.
That was a production of the Department of Information, Office of the Chief Secretary, Tobago House of Assembly.
apologize. I say thanks for favor. To wake up and hear my neighbor. 60,000 people strong, and the vibes is never wrong. We are beauty, we are power. We are people in the sun. We are beaches, we are rivers.
Good morning, and welcome to Good Morning Tobago right here on Tobago Updates. Guys, you know when you see me sitting here, it's because we're about to have those conversations that you want to have while I ask those questions that you want asked. But before we get into this morning's conversation, let's have our news in 90 seconds.
News in 90 seconds is brought to you by Standards, never beaten on quality and prices.
Good morning and welcome back to Good Morning Tobago. Chief Secretary Farley Augustine is scheduled to present the Tobago's budget for the fiscal year 2024-2025 on June 24th in the Assembly Legislature. He announced this during the launch of an internet broadband service in Palatuve at the multi-purpose facility. For the previous fiscal year 2023 to 2024, the Tobago House of Assembly requested $4.5 billion from the central government but only received $2.6. Augustine did not disclose the exact amount for the upcoming budget, but indicated that it would adhere to the Dispute Resolution Commission's recommended limit as accepted by Parliament. Additionally, the Joint Trade Union Movement announced plans to collaborate with the United National Congress and other political entities to remove the People's National Movement from power. During the 86th Labor Day celebrations in Faizabad, Joint Trade Union Movement President Ansel Roger emphasized the formation of a National Front Alliance, not a new political party, to achieve this goal. Roger criticized the PNM's 9-year governance, citing significant issues such as the closure of major enterprises, the cessation of gasoline production from Petrotrin's shutdown, rising unemployment, and alleged corruption. Roger urged union members to unite and mobilize against the PNM. And finally, Minister of Public Utilities Marvin Gonzalez announced that the Water and Sewage Authority would hire 9 new managers, including a new CEO. This announcement was made during the signing ceremony of the National Water Sector Transformation Program. The restructuring of WASA has reached a significant milestone, with the Human Resource Advisory Committee approving the terms for the new executive team. Gonzalez stated that after the 9 senior leaders are appointed, approximately 34 deputy positions will be filled in the coming months. The restructuring aims to streamline WASA's leadership, which has been considered too large and inefficient. And that was our news in 90 seconds.
Need a fresh start? Upgrade your life with the things you want. At Standard Distributors in Canaan, life is good with zero. Get that amazing fridge, the stylish sofa with zero down and easy financing. Your dream house is within reach. Visit Standard Distributors today. Life is good with zero.
This is how it's gonna go. They better look up below, 'cause this is your show, and everybody's gonna know. Say it to them once again. They better look up below. This is your show, and everybody's gonna know. That's how it's gonna go. They better look up below, 'cause this is your show.
Tobago
Tobago Glass Supplies has been a leading name for over 37 years in the glass and aluminum market in Tobago. We provide an extensive range of high-quality, innovative aluminum and glass products for commercial and residential use. Competitive prices with superior and professional services by committed employees who are guided by rigid quality standards. Tobago Glass Supplies specializes in the manufacture and installation of glass and aluminum products that are essential to today's homeowners and the business environment. We are engaged in marketing, sales, and installation of a variety of products. These ranges from windows and doors to necessities such as mirrors for homes and vehicles, designed and manufactured in-house or imported.
Welcome back to Good Morning Tobago right here on Tobago Updates. As we return with our conversations this morning, we're starting off by talking about the TTPS's Community Justice Clinic. And to have that conversation with me this morning, I have the pleasure of joining me online, Sajina Kadir, who's an attorney at law, as well as Senior Soup, Michelle Pierre, head of the Interagency Task Force. And in studio, I have Acting Corporal Brathwaite. Good morning and welcome to Tobago Updates. We're glad to have you this morning. This morning we're talking about the Community Justice Clinic, whereby TTPS, along with some legal attorneys, are going to be offering free legal advice to Tobagonians. So you are here in Tobago. Tell us a bit about the event and some of your colleagues that will be joining you to have this event.
Okay, the event, the attorneys will be coming to Tobago and they are going to offer free legal services to members of the community. Mind you, they will be in Mount St. George and they will also be in Roxborough, and it will be happening at the same time simultaneously. So they are going about any communities, talking to persons, and you could talk to them about anything, any legal matters. Be reminded that, you know, they are here to protect and serve the community's legal interests. So, you know, they will be around. Before the clinic starts, we'll be going through the communities. We'll be sharing the pamphlets. We are going to do a walkabout in the community, informing persons about what is taking place, you know, how they could access it. And mind you, everything is free. It's going to take place on the 29th, which is the last Saturday in every month. They normally keep the Justice Clinic. We are privy to having it in Tobago this round. Yes, it is in the east. Mind you, they came before. They were at the cultural complex, and as time progressed, they're going to come back and they may also, you know, engage persons in the west. But just because they're in the east doesn't mean that the persons in the west cannot access the legal clinic. It's open for everybody.
Right, and we have online attorney Sajina. Good morning, and tell us a bit about how this entire Community Justice Clinic came about.
Good morning to you and to everyone locked on. Good morning as well. So the Community Justice Clinic project started about 3 years ago during the lockdown period when I pitched an idea to the then Superintendent of Police, Michael Pierre, who is on the link as well. You know, there was a lot of hardship during the COVID-19 pandemic, and when families had to stay at home, it wasn't a vacation for everyone. It was actually, in some homes, very toxic. And I thought in the economic challenging times that was being faced, you know, people couldn't afford an attorney. And let's be real, people think attorneys are exorbitant in fees, right? So what we decided to do is to take the legal advice to the communities. And the last Saturday of every month, we visit 2 communities, 8 o'clock to 1 o'clock.
Excellent. And what are the communities that you guys would be visiting while you are here in Tobago?
So we will be at the Mount St. George Police Youth Club and the Roxborough Police Youth Club as well. This is our 5th time to Tobago, and as the team of attorneys, it's a volunteer attorneys, right? So as the team continues to grow, we will of course try our best and have our best to extend these services even a lengthier duration in Tobago.
Right, and at both locations, they would be going from 8 to 1. Explain the time.
Yes, that is correct.
Okay, excellent. And the event, Mr. Bradway, is it directly tied to the police youth clubs? Tell us about the youth clubs' involvement in this initiative.
Right, the event it's a partnership with the Tobago Police Service and by extension the Community Policing Unit. The community police we are here for community engagement, we foster partnerships with the community, amongst other things. So the policy club, we are facilitating the initiative, the policy clubs that have clubhouses like Mount St. George and Roxborough. The program is targeted for members in the community, and as I would have mentioned before, just reiterating, even though it's in Mount St. George, it's open for persons from all over Tobago. If you are from Crown Point, you can come down to Mount St. George and you can access the legal clinic. Normally, persons will have to go to an attorney's office and pay monies, even consultation fees, but today, that Saturday is going to be free, and they will even help you with a number of legal questions that persons will have. The policy clubs, what we do, we foster the collaboration, we foster the partnership, we foster the community engagements. Sometimes we bring out the youths who will even have legal questions. Young people have legal questions as well. So they are afforded the opportunity to come and speak to an actual lawyer about legal matters. They could bring their parents and so on. So we partner with them. We are providing the facility, the location, and the space, and we are also bringing out our members, the parents, and the stakeholders.
Right. And Attorney Cadet, tell us what is the extent of the advising that persons can look forward to? Because a lot of times when you hear about legal clinics, you think, okay, they might just tell me if I have a case or if I don't have a case, but yet I still have to go to an attorney. So what is the extent of the advising that would be given?
Right. So the majority of the team are all private practitioners. So we made a team decision. We see every type of legal matter except of a criminal nature. I would allow Senior Super to explain why shortly. However, we see any type of matter except the criminal, but with regard to domestic violence matters, which is quite prevalent, we would take those matters straight to court pro bono. So the vulnerable citizens feel even more protected by the service, not just having initial preliminary advice, but walking with them through a very high intensity type of matter all the way through court in endeavoring to obtain a protection order in matters of domestic violence.
All right. And Senior Superintendent, tell us a bit more about the range of services or advising that we can see happening at this community justice clinic.
Okay, so good morning to you. Good morning, Tobago. I want to take you back a bit to the start of the clinic. When the idea was pitched to me as the head of the community-oriented police section at that stage, what I saw is that this initiative would be an excellent crime-fighting tool to be used by the TTPS. In what way? It means that we would be bringing knowledge to persons who may not have had before, who may have wanted to take the law into their own hands. So we are giving them alternatives, the greater understanding of what they can or cannot do. We've also looked at assisting those persons, just as the attorney would have said, Ms. Kadir, that to bring the matters straight before the court so that it would eliminate some of the domestic violence that comes from situations within the homes. It's not only the murders, but we see there's the woundings, assaulted by beaten and such type crimes that emanate from domestic situations. So bringing this clinic to the members of the public, it would have had an impact to reduce these crimes in the Trinidad and Tobago.
All right, and tell us about the range of services or range of advice that we can...
Types of matters, right. So we do matrimonial grievances, private and civil matters. So we're talking about divorce, custody, access, maintenance, land, estate, even immigration. Once it is a legal grievance, we deal with it, except if it is a situation where it's like a larceny or crime, then it being a partnership that falls under the TTPS umbrella, we don't do those types of matters.
Okay.
So we're really urging members of the public to come out and take advantage of the,
And I might add that in relation to criminal matters, it would be a conflict of interest for the clinic to deal with criminal matters.
Please explain that a bit.
Okay, so our function, we are, as the police, we deal with crime. We detect crime actions of the law, which we take before the court to be dealt with before a court of competent jurisdiction. So in order for us to treat with the criminal elements out there through the clinic, it would be a conflict because we are the ones mandated to treat with crimes.
Okay, understood. We're going to take a quick break right here and we'll be back right after this.
Rotisserie, mouth-watering fries, salads, combos, and specials galore. Feeling for something to eat? Come and see. Our rotisserie is seasoned to the T. Kicking chicken, masala, and jerk roast. Crispy fries made from scratch. Who do you know can beat that? Or salads freshly cut and packed. When you taste it, you'll be wanting to come back. So come check us out on number 2 Robinson Street, Uptown Scarborough, Tobago. We open on Saturday nights from 7:30 to 11:30 p.m. Monday to Thursday, we're open from 10 a.m. to 9:30 p.m. and on Friday, 10 a.m. to 4:30 p.m. Contact us at 772-7443 and all social media handles at The Rotisserie Factory.
Sun Up Tobago is here. Join us on Saturday, July 6th from 2 p.m. to 10 p.m. at Delta Compound Argyle for an unforgettable summer experience. Enjoy an all-inclusive experience with mouth-watering food, coolers are allowed, and best island vibe. This is a tickets-only event. Get your tickets now at Barco, Lust, and Pablo's Argyle. Don't miss out on the event of the summer. Sun Up Tobago, sponsored by Tobago Updates, V-Mobile, State Solutions, and Thorns Place.
Look at people in here tonight.
The countdown is on to the Tobago Public Service Day Expo 2024. Join us on July 5th at the Shore Park Complex to discover the dynamic world of public service where innovation meets dedication. Explore exciting careers, experience innovative services, enjoy interactive displays, and a whole lot more. Come join us on July 5th at the Shore Park Complex from 9:30 a.m. Visit the Office of the Chief Secretary's Facebook page for details. Tobago Public Service Day Expo 2024. Public service now and beyond.
Good morning, Tobago. We're talking about the Community Justice Clinic that's happening at Monk St. George Police Youth Club as well as in Roxborough. And this is happening on Saturday, the 29th of June. And online we have joining us attorney Sajina as well as Senior Superintendent Michael Peer. Welcome back, guys, and thank you for being here this morning. Attorney Sajina, one of the questions that I want to ask, when you begin having conversations with an attorney and you come to that conclusion that, okay, you are my attorney in this situation, there is attorney-client privilege. Now, when we have something like a public community clinic, does attorney-client privilege exist there when someone comes to you, especially in matters of confidentiality?
Yes, of course. So when we host these community justice clinics across Trinidad and Tobago, the same rules that governs attorneys under the Legal Professional Act and of course under our code of ethics as to our conduct to clients as well as fellow attorneys, we must maintain the highest standard at all times. So the same demeanor applies when we are at the clinics across our country.
Okay, so you are legally obligated to ensure that that confidentiality remains.
We definitely are. The only time, you see, because it's a partnered initiative and we have police officers present, at times there may be an issue between an attorney and a member of the public that may warrant urgent police intervention. And because of the presence of the officers, we may ask the officer to be present to provide some assistance, but that doesn't breach the legal privilege. It actually amplifies the service to be provided to that particular member of the public.
All right, no problem. And when you talked about protection orders, you talked about marriage, divorce, issues surrounding land. Are persons able to hire the attorneys that are present for their case after they have gotten that initial consultation?
Right. So because this is a serving initiative, not meant to break pockets of members of the public or even charge them in any form or fashion, it was a team decision and one of the ground rules from the get-go that none of the clients we actually take into private practice because it will be defeating the purpose of the initiative in our respectful view. So there are other forums like legal aid or even sometimes the kindness of an attorney on the team to take it pro bono. With the domestic violence, because it's so prevalent, we definitely do that pro bono. But let's be real, we all have private practices, so we can't take everything pro bono. But, you know, being human, sometimes when we engage members of the public, having a heart, we feel for them, and we may take it on pro bono. But to take it on as part of our office, it will almost be an insult to the purpose of the initiative, which is a giving back initiative and a serving one, especially to bring immediate redress to legal issues, even at its most preliminary stage.
Okay, and how does it work when you guys are attorneys that are based in Trinidad when you get clients here in Tobago?
Right. So the similar code of ethics that we adopted in the project applies. So there have been willing persons in Tobago who took up a particular land matter. Land matters are very prevalent in Tobago. You see, we see domestic violence a lot in Trinidad. We see a lot of land matters in Tobago, more so than the domestic violence, right? So there was one matter that comes to my mind that an attorney took up pro bono. The same rules that we apply to the members of the public in Trinidad will still be given to Tobago. The point is we don't want to pump our private practice. We want to serve the members of the public by the attorneys who actually are over 10 years in practice and competent enough to give the gift of their time and provide the service, even across the style.
So, right, how does that relationship work when you're in Trinidad and your client is in Tobago? Does the person come down to Trinidad for hearings or you coming to Tobago?
Right, I understand what you're asking. So what may happen, and I know of one matter, as I said, where this occurred, the Tobago attorney would communicate with the person and a virtual platform like Zoom created to facilitate any further questions that they may have or anything of that nature. But just to be clear so that the members of the public understand, we cannot take all matters pro bono. So we make a team decision as to which is done. It's not an individual decision. So the client finds the attorney nice and feel comfortable, and that attorney just snaps her fingers or his fingers and say, look, I'm going to do this pro bono. It must be a team decision. I am the team lead for the attorneys in this project, and we have the record keeping necessary. So we actually decided after the clinic if there's any matter deemed urgent or if anybody wishes of their own volition to give the gift of their time in the longevity, meaning proceeding with the application before the court. And well, as you would know, court is virtual. So it really circumvents any concern about how we help someone in Tobago, because the virtual platform since COVID has been very kind to, progress.
Understood. And so as we round off our discussion this morning, please again, Senior Superintendent Michael, just let us Tobagonians know, persons who can attend know, why it's so important to be a part of this community justice clinic.
Okay, so before I do that, based on one question you asked in terms of the layout, The clinic is set up in such a way that the person coming for service deals directly with the attorney privately. So it's not an open air forum where the attorney is addressing everyone at the same time. It's just as if you go to the attorney's office and you meet with them to treat with the matter in particular that you're coming for. I'm saying to the members of the public, it's a free service, and we know that a lot of persons there would have issues that they may even just want to get an answer to a question in relation to how they can treat with a matter. Maybe it's a land issue, maybe it's a matter of custody, maybe it's one of these issues that you if you treat with it by yourself, you might turn the law into your own hands, right? So we want to urge the members of the public, come out, receive the free service. The other thing is on Friday the 28th, we will be out there on the streets in Tobago doing an outreach, handing out the flyers, talking to the citizens outside there so that persons who may not have access to social media or other media platforms can receive the word to attend the clinics on Saturday the 29th.
Okay, thank you so much. All right, is there anything that you want to remind Tobagonians before we wrap up this morning in regards to their attendance?
Just once again, the clinic is open for persons from all parts of Tobago. From Crown Point to Charleville, you have two locations, Roxborough and Mountain George Policy Club, and you can attend. It's free of charge. I heard of using the big word pro bono. I think pro bono also means free of charge for those of you all who may be concerned about it. And yes, it's about building trust and relationships with the community. It's about education and awareness. It's about youth engagement and community engagement. Part of the community policing mandate is community engagement, and that's what we are hoping to achieve by doing this. So we are working with the Justice Clinic, we are working with Trinidad, and we hope that the citizens of Tobago will benefit. Sometimes persons will say everything is in Trinidad, but they are coming to Tobago. They're taking their time and effort to come to Tobago with a whole team to provide the same service that is afforded to those members in Trinidad. Once again, it's open to everybody. You don't have to be a member of the policy club. Just come out, engage your attorneys, and get your legal advice. And I from being there, I saw some of the attorneys actually doing legal work right there, engaging the persons, some of them with their laptops preparing, helping persons with their will. I saw all that. I saw they offer even more advice. So even though you may think that they won't offer that, come and talk to the lawyers and they will offer advice. They even go beyond the call of duty on that day. So you'll come out. You and Uncle come out and ask questions.
I will, because I have questions to ask.
And let the team come and ask questions as well.
All right. Well, we want to thank you guys again for being here. Thank you for in making sure that Tobago is a part of the Community Justice Clinic. All right, guys, we're going to take a break right here, and we'll be back right after this.
Deltec Distributors Weekend Special Wings Friday. 3 pounds wings, 2.5 kilogram fries. Special 100 TT. Soup Saturday. 2 pounds cube beef, 2 pounds cow heel, 2 pounds chicken foot, 2 pounds pigtail, or smoke bone. Special $150. Super Sunday. 3 pounds leg and thigh chicken, 3 pounds sliced pork, 3 pounds lamb slice, 3 pounds cheese, 2 pack of pasta. Special $250. Located Main Road, Argyle, Tobago. We deliver 20 TT. Contact us on deltecdistributors.com 395-5040 or 237-0102. Deltec Distributors Weekend Special.
fresh start? Upgrade your life with the things you want. At Standard Distributors in Canaan, life is good with zero. Get that amazing fridge, the stylish sofa with zero down and easy financing. Your dream house is within reach. Visit Standard Distributors today. Life is good with zero.
Coconut's Cafe, the buffet restaurant that specializes in all your tasty local dishes. For breakfast and for lunch. Breakfast includes coconut bake and sada roti, served with chokers, buljoil, and sausages in tomato sauce. Not forgetting beef and cheese pies, shepherd's pie, macaroni pie, and rice in various styles. Meats served in a variety of flavors, garden salads, and pasta salads. All this accompanied by fruit juices, coconut water, your choice of a great combination to appease your taste buds. So call us today to order, as we are here to accommodate your busy schedules or if you are having a cooking day off.
Good morning, and welcome back to Good Morning Tobago right here on Tobago Updates. As we continue our conversation this morning, we're speaking with the former Secretary for Community Development and Culture, Dr. Denise Sawyer-Fat Angus, and she is in studio with us. Good morning and welcome.
Good morning.
It is a pleasure to have you this morning. Now, we're talking about the 2024 Tobago Heritage Festival, and we see that the calendar of events has changed significantly from what we know it to be. Now, there have for a long time been a conversation in this space about how do we transform the Tobago Heritage Festival to remove that level of monotonous, mundane feeling of seeing the same thing over and over every year. But even as changes are being made, we see that a lot of pushback is happening and persons are opposing the new structure. Tell us a bit about your idea surrounding this new Tobago Heritage Festival that has been proposed for 2024.
Well, for me, I am very disappointed because it tells me that persons don't understand what the Tobago Heritage Festival is about. And you go to Broadway and you see plays that have been going on for years and for generations. It's the same play. So why are we thinking that you don't want to see the same thing every year? Because my understanding is that they present it in a different way. But the values and the traditions that you're attempting to preserve and to teach are maintained in that production. Even though the script may be slightly different, you get the understanding of the traditions that you're trying to pass on from generation to generation. And so I don't think that idea of you want a new model for something different, it doesn't play within the Heritage Festival when you take out the classics such as the Pembroke Salaka Feast, your Lekoto, Tales and Superstitions, your Black Rock Sea Festival and Pan Festival, your I haven't even seen Canaan mentioned in terms of the way we grew as children. And so what you have really is a paltry offering. I feel as if, the heritage has been desecrated, our culture has been desecrated because we truly don't understand the value of it.
Right, and do you think that it has been taken away, or a number of these communities just simply refuse to participate?
Well, I've done my research, and some of the communities have actually put forward their proposals and they were refused. And yes, some of the communities decided they didn't want to participate. Now that presents another question. Why didn't they want to participate? Is it that they no longer have persons to perform to do the performances with the community, and therefore that speaks to a larger issue of culture and the community development. Where are the officers who are training? Is there a sustainable program to train persons within communities such that we have a sustainability of the culture going forward for generations to come? So it speaks to a larger issue when a community decides, okay, well, I don't feel that I have the capacity to put on this show this time. And therefore, what is being done to address that? How did we get to this level? Because you mentioned, yes, I was a former community development and culture secretary. And back then we understood you had to put the programs in the community to ensure that any future generation can take up and carry on the mantle of this heritage festival in your community. Because let me tell you, the heritage festival is not just a commission spending money. When you have a heritage festival in the community, the seamstress, she makes the costumes. He or she makes costumes. I say they because it's more than one. They make costumes. They outfit people who want to put on something nice to go to the heritage. The makeup artists get work. The taxi man gets work because people come from other communities to go there. And then the rest of the private sector gets work, because when these persons who perform get their monies, you also have the business people who come out and sell a little sauce, sell a little fried chicken, sell a little this and that. When they get their monies, they then spend, because they get monies that they could buy a new shoe for the child. They get monies such that, you can participate in graduation. You get money so that, the child has a book list for next year. You get money so that you can put basic food on the table for the family. The Heritage Festival is an opportunity to stimulate the economic vitality of the communities. And when you begin to strengthen that begins to get expressed in the larger economic development of the island. You cannot build a house on a weak foundation and expect the house to stand up. Communities are the foundation and the bedrock of the growth of this island, more than anything. And it tells me that this administration does not understand that. At a time where the economy has already been destroyed, this was a great opportunity to stimulate the economy at the level of the communities such that people can catch themselves again and begin to feel as if, okay, I could go out and do something different. I could go out and work now. I can do something different for my family. It gives them hope. Right now, people are feeling very hopeless out there. They don't know where next to turn.
And what do you say about the idea of, kind of staggering the shows in a way where one community might get to showcase this year, but then not the other year, in order to really keep the excitement alive for that show?
So are you telling me that it's okay, well, I have to wait till next year to put food on my table? It goes bigger than that. You have to understand it's bigger than that. And so the way we dealt with it when I was there, recognizing that, is that we had the classics, because people travel, the diaspora travel to see the classics. When you have somebody paying their ticket to come home for 2 weeks for a packed heritage, and you now give them a month with so many days in between with nothing to do, that's not value for their money to travel to come. So you have to understand what attracts the diaspora. And so you have the classics, and then you have the year-round experience where once a month on a weekend, you pull the other communities that have not been involved so that they can have a weekend. And therefore, whether the diaspora comes during that week or whether people from Trinidad come, you have something of heritage that people can experience at least once a month on a weekend. So that is what we had put in place to address that issue. But again, you know, it really is sad.
Right.
On all fronts, they have missed the mark.
And we're going to take a quick break right here, and we'll be back and we'll be continuing our conversation on the Heritage Festival 2024 with Dr. Denise Sawyer-Fat Angus. See you soon, guys.
Tobago, the date has been set. Saturday, June 22nd, we head to the Jade Monkey once again for the launch of their 2024 Jufi and Mass Band presentation for Tobago Carnival. On Saturday, June 22nd, we gather at the Jade Monkey to get a glimpse of the Jade Monkey Mass presentation for 2024, the Tobago Festival, and also the launch of the Jade Monkey Jufi, Monkey See, Monkey Do.
I come from between island of Canada.
Get ready for another year of Tobago Carnival with the best band in Tobago, Jade Monkey Mass and the Jade Monkey Jufi. So come out on June 22nd as we launch Monkey See, Monkey Do Jufi, and for Tobago Mass, the Tobago Festival's presentation, brought to you by the Jade Monkey. This one powered by Carib, Digicel, and Next 99.1 FM, a member of the TTT Limited Media Network. Jade Monkey.
Go down in the center, go down.
No place like home, home, home.
Oh, I love Tobago, baby.
When we outside, it's an ocean of love. All that we align to the stars up above. Let we dance now, take a chance now with me. And we go jump till morning. Look, the moon don't sleeping. Tell them we not leaving till the last drop of a canal is madness in the capital. So I feel like I'm running tongue again. Jump and shake the ground again. Wave with all my friends and them. No place like home, home, home. We go jump till the moon come down. It's we who the stars shine on. Play a mass and break away. Freedom in with DNA.
It's a different type of thing down there. And we party till we drop down there. With a lot of pretty girls down there. Down in Tobago.
Notice is hereby given that the 63rd Annual General Meeting, AGM, of the Bethel Credit Union Cooperative Society Limited will take place using a hybrid format on Thursday, June 27th from 5 p.m. The physical location will be upstairs the Mount Marie branch office. The purpose of the meeting is to receive minutes of the 62nd Annual General Meeting, to receive reports as follows: statutory and board-appointed committees, report of the auditor and audited financial statements, to receive budgetary proposals for 2024, to elect officers, to approve general resolutions, and lastly to transact any other business that may properly come before the meeting. A digital copy of the AGM brochure is available on the website. Please visit our website at www.bethelcredituniont.com or any one of our branches for further information.
Good morning and welcome back to Good Morning Tobago. We continue our conversation on the 2024 Heritage Festival. And before we get along with our conversation, I want to ask you guys to put in the comment section which one of the festivals were you looking forward to going to, and if that is still happening. If not, how do you feel about not being able to attend? Because we know some of the festivals like that Pembroke Salaka Feast, as well as the Lescato show would not be on this year. So let us know, what community shows do you usually always go to or always look forward to? Put it in the comment section. Let us know so we get an understanding of what are some of the shows that people really truly like. Now, when it comes to putting on a Heritage Festival show within the communities, a number of persons have come out and spoken about the difficulty in getting the resources needed to put on the show, specifically the money that they need. How did you do it in your time? How did community development and culture do it in terms of giving the resources to the community groups to prepare for the festivals? Were there community officers who went in to ensure that the production was well set up and established and training was done? What was done at that time?
Absolutely. At that time, you had the combination of community development and culture. So the collaboration between community development officers and cultural officers happened during that period at the greatest. And you definitely had to have officers going in and talking with communities, helping them to even complete the project proposal, their script, assisting them with those things. And even during the rehearsals, I was talking to one of the groups and they reminded me that even during my tenure, I would go out to make sure that the rehearsals were being done and that they didn't need anything extra to go forward. And that moral support is always important. But in addition, you must have the resources, the financial resources, at least a percentage up front so they can get started. Because when you think about the months of practice, and many of them practice for months, okay? They didn't just practice the week before. You're talking about refreshments for the young people who are coming there to perform up until 1 o'clock in the night. They're practicing. All of those things take money. You then have the persons who are going to be putting up the stage, it's not just a stage you're putting up, the decor and the creativity of the stage. All of those activities must be paid for, and therefore, you have to give them a percentage of money up front, and then towards the end, they also get the rest of the funding. So it has to be hand in hand. You have to know their needs. And so the top-down approach of sitting in an office and just deciding, okay, this is what you get and nothing else and whatever, and not truly understanding what it takes, because I now understand that they would have been responsible for infrastructure. Do you know what it takes to put down infrastructure for a festival? One that you're going to charge, because you're going to you have the fencing that needs to go up. You also have the, like I said, the arrangement on the stage itself. How are the photographers going to operate? The tents for the guests to stay. It's just, and in a place like Lekoto where you normally have some rain, you can't just put down tents, you have to put down flats. It could range to an enormous cost. And just to tell them off the bat that, hey, you all are now responsible for infrastructure, but we'll take the bar receipts. Come on. Some of them, and let's not talk, there are entities that are still waiting to be paid from cultural activities in 2022, 2023, and now. We can't continue like that because these persons who are waiting to be paid cannot afford to wait.
True. And during your tenure, what do you think they proposed the wait period for? And in a situation like this where you have years of the festival debt piling up, how would you have treated with that?
When I came into office, I set down a policy that within 3 months, 3 to 6 months, we have to find ways to pay and get those things out of the way. And so we would have worked really hard. If I heard of anyone who is not paid, we made sure and go in, find out what is the reason, and find a way to get them paid.
Right,
but just having a rolling debt from, the assembly does not augur well.
What do you say to the persons who say that it is the staff, technical staff, that are responsible to ensure that they push these files, to take them to the administrator, to take them to the secretary, to ensure that they are signed off and paid?
Well, that tells me that you have poor leadership and poor management.
And
there are ways to manage your staff, and clearly you don't understand how to do that.
Right. And we saw that during the February 2024 Carnival, there was a significant downsizing for Tobago. We didn't see a Tobago Jazz Festival this year. Now we're seeing a downsizing of the Heritage Festival. Do you think that the resources are being channeled towards establishing a greater version of the Tobago Carnival?
It's unfortunate. Is Carnival Tobago's real culture? Yes, Carnival is part of our national culture. But you can't be telling people fight for greater autonomy in Tobago, and you're not protecting what is Tobago, which is the Tobago Heritage Festival. That is your greatest priority to protect and to ensure that it continues on, not this dismantling of the different activities that we're seeing. The Tobago Jazz Festival was a premier act on the island and even in the country and across the region. But we continue to see the dismantling of it instead of taking a look and saying, how can we get back into the competitive arena with it? And this is my challenge, that we seem to be anchored in incompetence and lost in governance.
And finally, what are some of the words of encouragement you have for Tobagonians who, as I would have asked today, they feel a bit slighted by the fact that some of their favorite shows may not be on?
Well, Tobagonians, we have to realize at the end of the day that the people hold the power. I think sometimes we forget that. Sometimes we get distracted by the next best party or the next best rally or the next best sports day. But you have to start thinking, what is the essential that is missing to finally put Tobago on the trajectory for progress and sustainable economic development, such that the average person doesn't have to worry about where my next bread coming from to feed my family, where the next money coming from to put shoes on my children's foot, where the next money coming from to give them the graduation that they deserve, because they're young people who have done exceedingly well, but they cannot afford even to graduate because their parents cannot afford it. And the time has come for you all to think beyond just, the fluff. We all live here. We all know the pain that people are experiencing across the island at this time. And therefore, we have to really think what is needed in Tobago, what is necessary, such that we can finally say that she didn't just become more beautiful, that the baby was birthed.
Right. And finally, what would you say to the persons who say, well, the truth is we just cannot sustain the festival in the way that it in the way that it was before, financially?
Rubbish.
All right.
You know, this administration has gotten the most money ever out of any previous administration from Trinidad, and it tells me that there's poor money management and poor priority listing of what needs to be happening. If you understand that the true essence and the growth of anything begins at the community level, and if you understand that our culture is our wealth and our protection even from issues of crime, then you would know where it would be best to spend the money. In a case like this, where you have had the economy so destroyed, and that's I would think that you would place priority at this time, maybe not on a road, but place more monies in the communities where you can ensure that the people have hope, that the people can come alive and be part of the productive Tobago that we need going forward. How can you expect persons to go to work and be truly productive when they're considering in the back of their minds that, hey, the little extra money I was going to make by selling popcorn in Pembroke, that's no more. So I don't know how I'm going to make ends meet. Yes, I have a job, but it's not making ends meet. And that little end that I was going to get to pay for something is no more. How do you then expect them to be productive on their job that they have when they have no hope and such disappointment? So it goes further. When you tamper with the culture, you're tampering with a lot. They need to be mindful of that.
Right. And you heard it here, guys. That was the opinions of former Secretary for the Division of Community Development and Culture at that time, Dr. Denise Sawyer-Fat-Angus, and she was here giving her perspective on the 2024 Heritage Festival. So we want to thank her for coming in this morning. We want to thank you for coming to Tobago Updates. And we want to thank you, our viewing audience, for adding your likes, your shares, and commenting, and doing all that you can to make Tobago Updates the #1 broadcaster on the island of Tobago. Have a great day, guys.
The energy fill the skies. I say thanks for favor to wake up and hear my neighbor. 60,000 people strong, and the vibes is never wrong. We are beauty, we are power. We are people in the sun. We are beaches, we are rivers. We are melanated ones. We special and there is no denying. Tobago is #1. I am you and you are me.
Your exclusive gateway to Tobago, broadcasting the beauty of this island paradise to the world.